Hello everyone, how are you doing on this fine day? I really hope you're looking after yourselves. If you're new here, hi, my name is Noah, and I am
The Bookworm.
and here we talk about anything to do with books and game books. But today, we're talking about Heads Will Roll.
One knock, two knock, three knock, four. Someone's knocking at your door. Five knock, six knock, seven knock, eight. Who'd be out there quite so late? Don't be hasty. Stay in bed. Knock knock Nancy wants your head.
So, Heads Will Roll, obviously, by Josh Winning. This was published July 2024, so...
This year.
And is 368 pages of just horror thriller. And I love it so much. So, the story, we follow a woman named Willow, or who we know as Willow. And Willow was, being the main word, a sitcom star who, until cancel culture reared its ugly head on Twitter after she unfortunately tweeted something that was extremely misunderstood. So she ends up going to an adult type of summer camp known as Camp Castaway, where the castaways go to get away from the outside world for a few weeks, before they are then thrust back into society, where they can then decide where their next step is. Sounds awesome. I actually found the appealing of it, and I thought that would be a really cool way, like, that's a cool place to go. I wouldn't mind going somewhere like that. But there are a few other campers there, and no one uses their real name. They all use these fake names, so obviously we know her as Willow. On the first night, they decide to sit around a campfire and decide to do the stereotypical thing of where they tell ghost stories. One camper decides to tell an urban legend of Knock Knock Nancy, and from that point on, it kicks off. And the story is so good. The plot itself is very straightforward. It does this whole thing that I really like, where it's like lapping like waves. It gives you a piece of information, and then something happens, and then it goes where like figuring it out, and it kind of does that until basically a giant wave comes over, and it's just this huge crescendo of everything, and it's so beautiful and good and gloriness. I'm struggling so hard with English, and I don't know why. More than usual. I'm trying, okay? I am trying. Characters. There's a few characters, and it's going to seem like a lot, but it's mostly one point of view throughout the whole story until something happens, and specifically to a character that adds to the story. But it's mainly you are following Willow. So we have... This is going to sound like... So we have Apollo. Remember, all these names are not their real names. They use fake names for their own reasons, just so they can do things and then let go and then go back into society. Really good way of coping with things, sure. So we have Apollo, Kat, Chef Jeff, Baby, Misty, Brad, Danny, Ty, Kurt, Sadie, Juniper, and Willow. There's technically 12. Technically. Okay, that'd be the main word there. And I really enjoyed all different aspects of these characters, because they all have their own personality and they bring their own things to the story. I absolutely loved and adored not only Willow because she's the main person, because of what everything happens and how she thinks about things and copes with things, but Juniper is badass. I love Juniper, and if you read this book you will instantly know why. I love her character so much. And Danny is pretty cool. We love Danny, and Kurt was really cool as well. And like, I hated Misty, but I loved Misty, and the reason why is because the reason why I hate her, because she was kind of an ass, but she came out with the best lines. Like, they have this bit where they have affirmation nights, where they give an affirmation about themselves and they move on. And Misty, who's this absolute dick, turns around and is like, I would like to affirm that I am a force of fucking nature, and I don't ever need to apologize for that. And it was like, preach. Absolutely preach. Love that. There's quite a few characters that you love to hate and then you love to love. And it's not like an annoying hate or an annoying love. It's just you appreciate what they bring to the story with their own little personalities, their quirks, their hobbies, and how they talk and deal with things and cope with things. Love it. Love it. Rereadability, I'm absolutely going to read this again. I loved it. I thrived on this. I read this really, really fast. And there are certain things where it's really, really fun. Really, really fun. So it definitely has the fun factor. My thoughts on this, I rated this 5 stars, right? And this book is basically a homage to the classic slasher movies of the times with a fantastic modern twist. It also has a brilliant LGBTQ representation. I love that. And it fantastically covers well-known issues going off throughout the years. It's not been happening. Cancel culture and stuff like that hasn't just been happening this year. It's been going on for many, many years. It was just given a different name back then. And I'll probably give you some quotes on this. Like, there's certain things that happen, and I thought it was really, really good. It's also the fact that they have moments, obviously, they talk about real issues and stuff like that, stuff going on today. Like, a lot of people who feel lonely and stuff. And there's this bit where Willow's having this just down-to-earth conversation with the camp mom, Baby. She's literally like, does it ever get lonely out here? And Baby actually thinks about it, and she actually says, people make you feel alone, not places. And I actually found that that's very, very true in a lot of cases. Some people can actually say, you know what, it is the other way around as well. It also depends on the people. But I have to agree with that. There's also the fact that when I say it talks about serious things, it actually talks about the council wars. And I'm just going to read this out because I actually found this very true. So it's just a few abstracts. A few lines, basically. It says, let's be clear, cancel culture isn't the same as call-out culture. Movements like Me Too and Black Lives Matter sought to bring more about positive social change by exposing criminals who were otherwise protected by their wealth and status. Cancel culture, on the other hand, plays out almost exclusively on social media, where individuals who are deemed ethically or morally corrupt face a one-size-fits-all punishment, social exile. And you don't have to be famous, anybody can get cancelled if they're seen to have transgressed. And with something like that, like, it really hit home because obviously many years ago, like, I'm pretty sure everyone knows who Jenna Marbles is. I loved Jenna Marbles, and she was cancel cultured so fast for something stupid many, many years ago that was already sorted out, and she herself had changed as a person, and she brought so much laughter to people and such fun. And even though she made jokes about herself and did silly things, she was still very serious. She was always making sure she learned and educated herself, and if she ever made a mistake, she'd be like, thank you for people who told me that this is something that was wrong. I've now gone and learned this. And she would like thank them, and she would show that she learned from her mistakes, because we are human beings, we learn from mistakes. And the fact that this is such a thing, and it talks about this in the book, this whole cancel culture and everything like that, it's like, seriously, it is a huge problem. Like, social outcast, that's brutal. And the fact is that all these people are at this camp, they're going through their own versions of this kind of cancel culture. It's fantastic, it's well written, it had moments where I was like really rooting for something to happen or rooting for someone, and it just, I don't know how to say it, it was just fantastic. I really enjoyed his writing style. Everything made sense. It wasn't gory. It was most of the things were implied as in the old style, like, slasher movies back in the day, and it's brilliant. Fantastic homage. Loved it. Fantastic. And I can see where a lot of the inspirations for the characters came from in the book, and it's absolutely brilliant. It has certain like Easter eggs for certain movies and also other books that are written throughout the times. Absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed this book. I would love it if people actually read this book. I know it's new out. I don't think it's gotten the love that it deserves, but it's fantastic. I know people will be a bit put off by the amount of characters, but it's a horror thriller slasher. What do you expect? It's brilliant. What do you want? It's... That's all I have to say. But let me know if you've read anything very similar or if you've read the book. I would love to know your thoughts and everything. But stay awesome, my friends. Much love and look after yourselves. Bye.